Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode edition video of Loki review. This is going to be the spoiler-free review. I'm doing this by myself because I am the only one from the Koalition who has seen this show. I was sent to 2 episodes, and it was two wonderfully put together episodes that I think has come out of Marvel Studios. This is a show that is truly, it understands the Loki character, it knows where it wants to go, and not just with Loki alone, it knows exactly where it wants to go in the next phase of the MCU. This is a show that is going to open up so many possibilities for not just Loki, but also for everyone who's involved, every character that is involved, from maybe the Eternals. I'm not saying that it involves the Eternals. I'm just saying that this show has the ability to bring in so many different characters and opportunities and to switch things up that it takes what we have known from the comic books and just elevates it. It just takes what we know and just makes it something that is incredible. And for people who has never read the comics, they're going to be like, "What's going on? This is incredible." And I mean that in a really, really good way. So let's just kind of start from the beginning. I know a lot of people are like, "But Loki's dead," and Loki is dead. This is one of the shows where it's not going to do a switcheroo, in the sense that, hey, the Loki who died when Thanos killed him. Oh no, he just popped up and was faking the whole time. No, this is a character who is dead and will stay dead, but at the same time is very much alive. So we have to go back to Endgame in order to fully understand how this happened. In Endgame, when they was trying to find the different Infinity Stones, we know that there was one of the scenes where they traveled to New York. And during that scene where they was trying to cause a distraction, get Iron Man to have that little heart attack, this is when Loki was able to get the Tesseract in all of its confusion and escape. And a lot of people were wondering, well, what happened to Loki? The movie wrapped up everything so nicely, but we don't know what happened to Loki. This is a show that is going to explain to you, everything that kind of happens to Loki. So, like I was saying, our Loki, the Loki that we know, the Loki who was murdered by Thanos, he is dead. This is the Loki from the Avengers that we met back in New York during the Endgame, and he escaped by using the Tesseract. With that being said, both timelines, a Loki escaping and forging his new path, and Loki who died in what was it, Infinity War, they are the same. Okay? They are two timelines that exist at the same time but don't know the other one existed. So the Loki that we see in the series has no idea all the events that occurred. He has no idea what happened with Thanos. He has no idea about the snap. He is the Loki that was like, "Oh, they captured me in New York. I'm going on with the rest of my life." But that Loki that we know experienced everything. He experienced his mom dying. He experienced his dad dying. He knows who Helena is. He lost his home. Still, but the Loki that we're following does not know any of this. And because of this, Loki of the new Loki, the one that broke away, is a mistake. And he is something that should have never happened. This is not a spoiler. This is something that we have seen in one of the trailers. This is explained. Not MCU, Marvel and Marvel Studios is dropping a lot of the Loki trailers, and this is something that's kind of explained. So, like I was saying, he was creating the different timeline, and because of that, he created a Nexus event. Nexus should sound familiar because of WandaVision. Now remember, the whole Nexus explanation was kind of told through the commercial, where this is, it's in the comics also, so it's still not a spoiler. Nexus beings are people who really don't like when you screw up the timeline. One of the Nexus beings that we know is Wanda. Remember how we also know from the whole Agnes situation, and Agnes was also giving that nice monologue about chaos magic. She's a Nexus being. She is someone who is elevated so much that she can travel through out different timelines, and she can travel and basically change things. As we saw, she can create things out of nothing. So it's very important to know that the events of WandaVision kind of they transfer over to Loki. And remember, the original format, the original schedule for the MCU TV shows was that it was going to follow. It was going to be WandaVision first. It was going to follow everything from WandaVision, and instead, we got that whole mix up with the whole COVID situation. So the shows are kind of out of order. But this follows the events of WandaVision. So, like I was saying, she is a Nexus being. One of the other people that we know who are Nexus beings in the comics is Kang. Kang, we know, is going to be in Ant-Man 3, played by Jonathan Majors. It has not been confirmed, but it's basically confirmed. And Marvel is taking its sweet time confirming people. Oscar Isaac just got confirmed for Moon Knight, even though we've known for months. I mean, even Oscar Isaac was posting videos of him training as Moon Knight. So Marvel is taking its sweet time, but we know that Jonathan Majors is going to play Kang. Now, I'm not saying any of these people are in the series, and this is not something that you should expect in the series, because Kevin Feige has given that interview previously, especially during WandaVision, how he wants the TV shows to focus on that character. He doesn't want you to be distracted with other characters. Remember, Doctor Strange was supposed to appear in WandaVision, and he didn't because Kevin Feige was just kind of adamant the shows are going to focus on its characters and not kind of distract you from that. So, like I said, this is a show that is used to explain the multiverse. This is a show that's going to springboard Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. This is how it's going to show the different multiverses and the different versions of characters that we know, starting off with the Loki. Again, without any spoilers, that should kind of tell you a lot of what you're expecting. This is going to take this show and this universe and basically everything that we know completely sideways. And I mean that in the best way. So, like I said, without explaining everything and going too much into detail, Loki is a mistake. He is something that really should have never happened. And kind of to avoid death, because the best way to get rid of the mistake is to stop it, but kind of to avoid that whole situation, this ends up becoming a detective story because there is someone who is out on the loose that is trying to hunt down and kill beings. I could say that. And this ends up transforming into Loki wanting to redeem himself. This is a show where Loki really sits down, and even though he doesn't know what happens in that timeline that we know, he's caught up and he realizes the things that he does. He realizes the way that he's been living and how he's kind of been treating other people is not it's not the best. It's either a facade or it is just something that was in the moment he wanted to do, and he kind of comes to this realization that he can be something more than who he is expected to be. And this is a redeeming show for Loki. Also, at the same time, this is still Loki, so we don't know whether or not he's lying. We don't know what his master plan is. This is a show that will always keep us guessing. But for the surface, so what we do know so far is that this is a show that he wants to redeem himself. There was recently we had a press conference with the entire cast and the writers of Loki, and Kevin Feige really explained that this is going to be a show where we see a different side of Loki. This is going to be a show where, just how we saw with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, our characters has been kind of carrying a lot of weight with them. And I'm not going to say this is a therapy show for Loki, but there are moments where he is therapized. He gets therapy, basically, but not in the traditional sense. This is a show where you're going to see that really great comedic timing of Tom Hiddleston as Loki, also that kind of heartbreaking moment. And one of the people who ushers everything in and kind of really, sets the pace of the show is also going to be Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson is a delight. I never knew how much I needed them together. I never knew how much the universe itself is just going to just elevate itself with of the Owen Wilson, and I absolutely love it. And I think it's going to be such a fun ride. What I can also say is that, you know, Loki is there may or may not be a possibility because of the multiverse where we can see multiple versions of something. Uh, so those who have read the comics, Kevin Feige has said in the past, in previous interviews, that he really respects the comics, and comics lay the groundwork for the shows. They lay the groundwork for the characters. So you're never going to get bored with Loki. I can say that. Like I said, there's a lot of drama that comes with it. Also, this is a really weird, kind of quirky show. I would put it in kind of the same vein as Charlie Kaufman. It felt like it was written and directed by him. It was not. That just kind of goes and shows to how wonderful the writing is with this show. And this, they hired the exact same writer for Loki. He's going to do Doctor Strange 3. So we can expect that kind of elevated what is going on. I love every moment, but I'm still really confused. And speaking of confusion, the show does kind of hold your hand, but not too much. It holds your hand in the beginning to kind of explain everything that is going on. You have Miss Minutes, yes, the animated kind of Miss Minutes. That kind of shows that it's going to blend a lot of animation with live action, but it does it great, and it's not going to look weird. But there are sequences that is animated. There's Miss Minutes who is animated, and you kind of see that interaction with them, and it's just something that's just hysterical and hilarious. And I'm just looking at my notes to just make sure that I don't forget anything. So for anyone who has not watched WandaVision, I know a lot of people considered it to be one of the boring parts. I will say that it is very important to do watch that. I'm not saying that in the first 2 episodes it's gonna be like WandaVision. No, but I am saying that the events of how they lay down things in WandaVision carries over to Loki. It feeds into Loki. So what you do need to know is chaos energy. You need to know what that is. You need to also know how there was the commercial, the Nexus commercial. You kind of need that, not necessarily because they kind of explain it, but it's really good to have that oh my god factor when you're watching this. So kind of just look that up a little bit. If not, you could just kind of just watch the commercial. You don't have to watch through the whole series if you don't want to. But I like the series. I thought it was good. But and there may be a possibility of a little Ant-Man 3. I'm not saying that you're going to see Ant-Man 3 in it. I'm just saying that it could have a possibility of ties in Ant-Man. Because we do know that Gugu, I cannot pronounce the last name, but Gugu is connected to Kang, and that opens up a whole lot of things that can happen. So, again, this is a fantastic show, and I think it's really also very important. During the press conference, it was announced that the inspiration behind Loki, this is just to show the different direction that they're going in. The inspiration behind Loki for the movies Seven, which we all know that one, what's in the box? But it was Seven. It was Silence of the Lambs. So yeah, that kind of explains right there what you're gonna get. And like I said, this is a detective story that is out of this world. That's what I can say. And they do a masterful job. And I look forward to more episodes. And I look forward to where the MCU can go next, because it literally can go everywhere and anywhere at any time. Literally. Because it's a time traveling show. So anytime you get to see that time travel, and you get to see different ways that Loki is integrated into that timeline. So yeah, without any spoilers, it's an unexpected ride. Expect the unexpected in the most wonderful way, and it's incredible. Nominated for some Emmys because it's smart. It's beyond smart. So thank you for this very quick review. Hopefully this kind of explains some things without spoiling everything. But we will be back with a full panel from the Koalition. We're going to break down each episode weekly, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And that way it's spoiler free, so we can talk literally about everything. We can talk about all the characters, all the connections. We can talk about the comics. We can really show the Loki-ness of it all. And it's going to be really great fun. show, and it's going to be just a really great time. So thank you so much. Have a great day, evening, afternoon, and go watch Loki on Wednesday. No need for me to tell you. Everyone knows. Everyone's excited. So watch it tomorrow. It's going to be great.